Hi everyone, my name is Inaya Raja and I am an undergraduate student at Wellesley College, and I conducted my research at Wesleyan University's Hazel Quantitative Analysis Center and under the advisorship of Professor Sanaz Vajadian. And so this is my presentation on the Sarsang Reservoir. Now, the Sarsang Reservoir is a key vital waterway that's located in Nagorno-Karabakh, also known as Artsakh, that's a militarily occupied zone between Azerbaijan and Armenia. Now, this reservoir supplies around 70% of the clean and fresh water supply in the region, and it also supplies 40 to 60% of the electricity as well. However, in 2023, Azerbaijan imposed a blockade on Artsakh by closing off the Lachin corridor, which connects Artsakh to Armenia, meaning that there was no ability or accessibility to goods and resources. As well as this, on January 9, 2023, Azerbaijan destroyed a high power voltage line that connects Armenia's supplying electricity to Artsakh, meaning that the Sarsang Reservoir was the only other available resource that was used to supply the electricity. And this reservoir is connected to the hydro plant, and because of the limited water resource, it caused major damage and water stress to the area. And so this video showcases this through CivilNet about what it looked like in terms of its drought period in 2023. And so because of this drought period, I wanted to be able to document not only the water stress and low water content, but also the recovery period due to Azerbaijani war diversionary tactics. And so what I did is that I accumulated satellite imagery from PlanetScope and created change detection maps. So each map is showcasing from 2020 to 2024. And as you can see, in 2020, it showcases the least amount of water content, getting down to 88.8 million cubic meters, whereas the reservoir is supposed to supply around 500 to 600 million cubic meters. And so these satellite images are able to showcase the circumference and the water levels in a place that is a militarily occupied zone. As well as this, I was also able to create indices, the NDVI vegetation index, to showcase how surrounding vegetation and coverage was also affected. And so, as we can see, there's lower vegetation levels from 2020 to 2023. However, by 2024 and 2025, we're seeing an increase in vegetation access. And so because of this, I was also able, by the EcoStress portal and NASA's appears, be able to look at land surface temperature to see how that had any correlation with the vegetation coverage. And as you can see, there's a steady decrease over the years in terms of the land surface temperature around the Sarsang Reservoir area. And this is due to a natural cooling effect around the riparian zone from the around the Sarsang Reservoir, which showcases that increased, showcases the increased vegetation. As well as this, what my main focus was on the water content levels. These showcase MNDWI water index to showcase what the water content was looking like from 2020 to 2024. This showcases similar patterns to the PlanetScope satellite images that I showcased, where 2023 showcased the least amount of water content available. And so I wanted to look at the recovery period as well, because by 2024, we're seeing a drastic change in the water levels of the reservoir. And this is due because in 2023, in the between June 23rd and July 1st, we see a high level of precipitation rate between this week. It was the highest that they had recorded this year, and this was also taken by the EcoStress portal from NASA appears. And this showcases also alongside the highest level of soil moisture, also from DAMET, RTMA, and Climate Prediction Center, to showcase how this high rate of precipitation was also able to aid the partial hydrological recovery of the reservoir. And this is important to consider because while the actual aiding in the recovery of the reservoir was because of environmental impact, we have to remember that the drought itself was caused by Azerbaijani war diversionary tactics. And not only was there severe environmental impact, but there was also severe direct human impact as well because of these violations. Because of this, because of the lack of water within the reservoir, there was no ability to access things like heating and gas, and that closed down around 18,000 homes, around 2,000 companies, and around 300 schools, meaning that people had to rely on gas and firewood for them to be able to access necessary resources, and this led for around 8 to 9 months of this due to the blockade. And so they had to endure 4-hour rolling blackouts, and this is recorded all within Azerbaijani human rights violations. And so the purpose of my study was to really highlight, to showcase how these violations are able to manifest not only environmentally, but to showcase the human impact as well, so that in future situations like this, due to the Armenian-Azerbaijani peace treaty that was signed a few months ago, and Trump signing on to a deal that's facilitated with Azerbaijan to control most, if not every single hydro facility in the Artsakh region. It's important to keep these considerations in mind and to ensure that future violations like this can never happen again. And so I would really like to thank my professor so much for aiding me in this project, as well as the University Network for Human Rights, where I was able to actually travel to Armenia to speak to people who are affected by this conflict, and as well as the AGU and NASA Hyperwall team for supporting me in this presentation. Thank you guys so much.